Hey everyone, you're actually about to watch my video on Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, but there is a catch this time. This isn't a sponsorship, right now at least. I'm actually out of town right now for the Too Many Games Expo next week-ish. I hope I could see you there. I'm going to be handing out stickers. I met that Trav guy at TMG 2023, appropriately Metal Gear themed. Here's the thing. Because I'm out of town, I'm editing on my laptop, and my laptop is, it's kind of stinky. So this video isn't going to be as heavily edited as usual, unfortunately. In fact, it is almost entirely edited by my editor, Creepy Elliot. Elliot, I look forward to seeing you at Too Many Games this year. That's really it. This video is not as heavily edited as I wish it was, but it's Metal Gear 2, so I don't really mind as much. If this was Metal Gear Solid, really any of them, I'd be more worried about it, but it's Metal Gear 2. I've already talked about its development in the Snake's Revenge video, go check that out. I look forward to... Hello? I look forward to hearing your guys' thoughts. Here's this. I picked this up as a prop because I'm at my girlfriend's right now and she just had this laying out, and... We're playing this on the PS2 release of Subsistence this time because I value my hearing. If you needed any proof that Metal Gear 2 was the beginning of the Kojima-ization of the Metal Gear series, then the opening credits before the title screen will really start to put you on that track. This feels like the opening credits to a movie, complete with this fantastic, bombastic music here for the theme of Solid Snake. A track that, although has been neglected a bit by Konami, was remixed into a brand new piece for Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is oddly fitting comparing the return of Solid Snake to that game to this proper return of Snake here for a real sequel rather than what we got with Snake's Revenge. It's almost poetic. I played this on original difficulty. I'm not entirely sure what easy entails, I didn't even try. And unlike the previous Metal Gear videos, I'm playing this one without a map, or any guide in that matter. And that's simply because this game is much more coherent than its predecessors. Or at least it feels like it is. It's totally possible that after playing the original both on the MSX and NES, and then Snake's Revenge, that I just kind of understand the bullshit that this game might want me to do. But if you're someone who's played Metal Gear Solid 1 before but never played this one, the dots will start to connect on where that game got a lot of its ideas from. It's very similar in that regard. The game starts by demonstrating Snake's new ability to, crawl on the ground, automatically finding cover behind some sandbags before we're given a call from Colonel Campbell, making his first appearance release order-wise. Everything here feels incredibly familiar, though. Where before we started with Operation Intrude N313 and a mission to infiltrate Outer Heaven and save Dr. Madnar, we're now starting with Operation FO14 to infiltrate Zanzibar land and rescue the kidnapped Czech biologist, Dr. Keo Marv, who we should be able to identify from a distance via radar because of an implant in his molar, something that totally doesn't backfire on us at any point in this game. Yeah, this might be a procure on site mission, but we're given a radar this time, allowing us to see 8 screens around us where we're in the middle like it's a Mega Man boss select screen. It's not perfect. If we're spotted, enemies can jam it quite easily, and it might not work if we're in small enclosed spaces, so we might be wandering around vents not exactly knowing where we're gonna end up. But if we do get lost, we're able to contact our superior at 140.85. The same frequency that Big Boss used before, which is a little suspect. I also kept thinking it was 140.86 for some reason, so I kept trying to call Campbell and thinking, why aren't you picking up? Why have you abandoned me? We could also pull up a phone book and select people by name if we want to contact them, rather than needing to remember all of the frequency numbers in the back of the manual. Something I just didn't know about in my first couple hours playing the game, so I didn't even know that we could contact Miller. More on him later. We've got a whole extra button this time, and as a result, Snake can now duck down by pressing X, and when in this state, you can start crawling by moving in any direction, but you need to press the button to stand back up, which can be a little bit annoying, especially in a pinch. But we can use this not just to crawl under small openings and fences, but also behind cover. Stuff like tables and desks can now keep us hidden by going literally underneath them, keeping us out of enemy sight, which is gonna be nice because, wow, enemies got a huge upgrade since the last time. It also keeps us from alerting any guards that might be nearby if we walk on a surface that's a little loud by our footsteps. Though you're told this in a pretty safe environment from the beginning, where you start walking across the surface and then this guard that you can't see goes, "What was that noise?" Hey, I bet you didn't expect to see me here in this video that I made, but I'm here to tell you about today's sponsor before we go any further, and that's Raycon. Raycon's mission is to show that not everybody needs to sacrifice an arm and a leg to enjoy high-quality sound and also essential smart tech listening features. Their everyday earbuds are a straightforward, genuine, and no BS product. You're paying half the price for basically the same product, if not better quality. One of my favorite things about these is that they actually come with different sized gel inserts for the tips. I've always struggled with earbuds until now because of my oddly unsymmetrical ear canals, so one would always fit in one ear but never the other. But with all the options they give you, I was able to mix and match and experiment to find the exact right size that works for me. I've seriously never been able to have a pair of earbuds actually work for me before until now. And with up to 8 hours of playtime, the everyday earbuds are sure to leave you in comfortable hands. Tips? I've especially enjoyed using my Raycons on the Steam Deck while I play it in bed. Those Minecraft dungeons ain't gonna dungeon themselves. Clicking that link in the description not only supports them, but also supports me and everything that I want to do, so be sure you go to buyraycon.com/TravGuy and get 15% off of your order. Once again, that's buyraycon.com/TravGuy for 15% off your order. And now, let's return to the tactical espionage action. Alright, let's get this adventure started proper. Oh my god. Alright, that's on me. I could have totally seen that guy as a white dot on the screen above me, but I missed that. That's something I had to get used to going from Metal Gear 1 to this one. Rather than the game remembering what's on screen currently, the entire map of where you currently are in the game is stored in RAM. Guards can patrol around the entire floor without being on screen, which I'm pretty sure is why we were given a radar so we're not cheesed out of moments like this. But as a result of this, that old trick of walking in and out of a room with a consumable item just doesn't work anymore. These items only respawn if we walk into a new area indicated by a loading screen, the little fox shooting a gun that orbits around him because he is so fucking dense. You can try this yourself pretty early on with this ammo crate here, though there's really no need to because so far we pick up the maximum amount of ammo at once, but you can. But you might have noticed that that ration is specifically a B1 unit ration containing certain ingredients, and I'm pretty sure heals the player in different ways, though that's not specified in the description. A small bit of detail that I needed to remember because certain animals are attracted to certain ingredients and we need to attract a carrier pigeon way later in the game. You can still automatically heal yourself by having the ration in your hotbar on the side, something I especially needed because of how brutal the AI can be. These guys have a proper 45-degree cone of vision and can even turn their heads to look around for you. Something that doesn't sound very impressive, but holy crap is it a huge change. Something that shouldn't be a surprise, but compared to the literal line of sight that these guys had before, yeah, this is huge. The whole 1 and 2 exclamation mark system has been retooled into this evasion system, where the alarm will always continue even if you walk off screen, and goes into an evasion mode if you haven't been spotted for long enough, where they'll investigate where they last saw you, and then eventually declare all clear. Something you can exploit for yourself by hiding in a small area and then just punching every guard that comes in to investigate. Alright, let's get a move on. Oh, come on! Fuck it, I'm reaching through walls! Stealth is obviously encouraged here. We don't want to alert anyone because we will die practically instantly, but if you really need to, there are some more direct means. I love that the weapon pickups are still massive compared to Snake. I don't have to worry about unequipping my weapon anymore to use these hands because I can punch and shoot at the same time. Well, not at the same time, but I have access to because of that extra button. That's actually really nice. I'm still not going to use it a lot until I find a silencer. Wow, ain't that impressive? I may have taken a wrong turn in the vents, but look at that! Look at that fake Z-axis! I actually dropped down from the high-up vent onto the floor! Wow! So we make it into the Zanzibar Land countdown, and we're introduced to Holly White, an allied spy who's been posing as a journalist to get intel on the lay of the land, and we can contact her at any point at 140.15. By immediately pestering her over the phone like a middle school crush, we can actually get her to tell us some pretty important information, like how the compound has 2 basement floors and 4 above floors, connected by 2 nearby elevators, where the east elevator stops us at floors 1 through 4 and the west elevator stops us in the basement. Though rather than going into the Mario Brothers underground backrooms to use the elevator, we actually have to call the thing to us, which can put us in some tense situations if there's guards nearby. You actually have to punch the elevator button to get it to work. That's such a small detail, but I genuinely love it. But she leaves us with a really interesting revelation. It turns out that Zanzibar Land has war orphans from all over the world. hand. But that's okay, she insists that they're just innocent kids and they won't hurt us. Something that certainly will remain true as the Metal Gear series goes on, especially the direct prequel to these two games. I screwed myself over by accidentally skipping some important dialogue that explained the different floors of Zanzibar, so I started cycling through her dialogue trying to get as much information as I could so that she starts, you know, recycling what she says like in any other game. But it turns out that if you exhaust a character's dialogue, they just tell you, sorry, I can't talk right now, rather than, yeah, fuck you, Holly, stupid ass Breaking Bad baby, and fuck you, Colonel Campbell, while I'm at it, for being on the right codex frequency rather than the wrong one that I kept entering. I could have gotten so much cool dialogue from you, like, Snake, remember to crawl under that fence. Yeah, you know all those small spaces that you can fit into by crawling? This is excused in canon by being small places that children could fit under. Fucking what? Oh, also, there's a command room that has a map for the whole compound in it. That'll be pretty helpful for us later, I imagine. Though we're gonna need some numbered keycards before we get that far. And actually, you don't find any numbered keycards on this first floor. You gotta go up to level 2 for that. I didn't know they introduced ghosts this early into the series. What the hell? All rise for the Zanzibar Land National Anthem. Gary, you put on the wrong track. That was We Wish You a Merry Christmas. There's not much we could do here on level 2 aside from grab the first keycard and get some rations, so we still need to come here. But I'm glad we don't need to stick around because this entire floor is practically covered in these loud-ass floors. I'm trying my damn hardest to sneak around the guards, but at the insane clapping of my feet? Nope, never mind. I don't like this joke anymore. You could still get the binoculars if you really want to, acting just like before, pausing the game to let us see tiles nearby. Though because of the not quite Soliton radar, I don't really feel a need to actually use this. I can see where enemies are. I guess this could be handy in seeing which direction an enemy is facing before I walk into a screen if there is a flashing white dot next to him. It's not something I'm gonna use a lot, but it's definitely more viable here than it was in other games because of their cone of vision. Holy shit, it's Psycho Mantis! Holly didn't tell me what this floor is all about. Why is everyone wearing gas masks? Play stupid games with stupid prizes. Ah, no way, I don't fuck with red squares. I don't think that was dust. No, what the fuck? Is that a sewer, baby? This area is pretty small right now. It's just a tease of what's here, but we can find some infrared goggles. Now I don't need to self-induce lung cancer to see red lines. Oh, hell yeah, basement shortcut. How is it a shortcut at all? Security lasers are actually a bit of a nuisance now. They're not just a single static setting of lasers that you need to maze your way around. It's not random, there is a pattern to it, but you can't just sit there and memorize the layout of these lasers and walk through them without even seeing them. Well, actually, I probably could if I wanted to memorize the timing, but I don't. I also don't really care about these rooms filled with gas because I could survive pretty well on my O2 meter before I start taking damage, but hey, it's still nice to have. Now we can finally see what Mantis is up to. Oh my god, the alert sound is muffled when you have the gas mask on. That's that's kind of awesome. All right, now can you get that door open, please? Take off your gas mask so you can unlock the door. What do you mean that's the wrong key? All right, cool. We found Marv, except, no, we didn't. We fell for the old fake friend prank. I mean, the old fake transmitter prank. But unlike Punished Madnar from before, who tries to kill us with a plot hole, I mean, close enough, who tries to kill us with a trap door, this is actually our first boss. Black Ninja, who starts off the Metal Gear Solid trend of having a cyborg ninja in practically every game. A former member of NASA's Extraterrestrial Environment Special Forces Unit. What the fuck is the Nisfu? Is that a slur? This isn't a hard fight, but it's definitely a step up from the fights from the previous games if we're talking about quality. Even if I can get him stuck in the center of the room. Just wait him out until he starts throwing ninja stars at you and then open fire on the guy. Otherwise he'll teleport out of the way just like in some of my Japanese animes. Now fall. Alright, this is when shit starts to get kinda wacky. It turns out that this cyborg ninja is none other than Kyle Schneider from the previous game. The guy that was about to reveal to Snake that Outer Heaven's leader was Big Boss but then dies off screen. Yeah, it turns out he's not dead and is in fact now working for the guy. Now insisting that it wasn't actually Big Boss who almost killed him, it was Snake and his country. So after Snake destroyed TX-55, the Metal Gear that Big Boss was trying to threaten the world with, NATO launched a bombing campaign on the remains of Outer Heavens after it self-destructed, making sure that there were no loose ends that needed tied up. It didn't matter if they were friends or allies, resistance fighters or children. The United States hit the remains of Outer Heaven indiscriminately, and one day they'll even turn on Snake, he says. But also teasing that he, in parentheses, was different. The twist that this character is actually Big Boss comes later, but I'm gonna tell you this now because it does recontextualize how you look at this. Despite being on opposite sides and probably torturing the guy, Big Boss saw that they were both under the same bombardment from the United States. He saved Kyle and other resistance members, bringing them in and treating them as family, knowing that the country that they were once ready to put their lives on the line for is now trying to kill them. And he hopes that Snake could one day see that too, actively telling us where Dr. Marv is being held, as it's what he would want. Sending us on our way to follow some guy with a green beret, green beret, I get it, that should eventually lead us to where they're holding him. Alright Schneider, let's go get you patched up from the 3 minor gunshot wounds I left in your scrotum. Oh, never mind. Well, thank you for the credit card. I used it to buy a mine detector because I think metal detectors in old cartoons are cool. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Mantis Man? Well, alright, you could just say it's not cool. You don't have to fucking blind me. Oh, there's Schneider's Green Man. Oh, great, it's an escort mission with extra steps through the lost goddamn woods. I mean, I'm fine with this. I'd much rather follow someone through the lost woods rather than the game giving me a compass and telling me to do it on my own. But I tried to step out of his line of sight because I knew he was about to turn around and accidentally walked out of the room, completely resetting my progress. Oh, we are so fucking over, bros. I finally get the Colonel's frequency correct at this point, and for one of the 2 things that he's actually good at helping me with, he gives me Master Miller's transceiver frequency. And it looks like the guy finally got over his fast food addiction over the last 20 years because he's telling us not to eat too much while gaming because digesting takes away power for the brain, and that if I drink soda while gaming I won't be thinking too good because my stomach has to worry about all that carbonation. Anyways, we follow the Green Beret guy all the way up to Madnar's cage, which we could see from our radar is actually 2 rooms and that there's a guy on the other side of it, and this first one is suspiciously empty. Naturally, I think that I need to blow up the wall with some C4, but the Colonel tells us that this is actually tap code that we're hearing being knocked from the other side of the wall, and that we need to consult the Metal Gear 2 manual because it actually comes with a cryptograph for how to decipher tap code. That may sound intimidating, but it's not nearly as hard as deciphering Morse code. There's 2 times that we need to use this in the game, and both times they spell out codec frequencies, so you don't even need to worry about all those letters there. And this one gives us the frequency of 140.82, who turns out to be none other than Dr. Madnar from the previous game, revealing himself to be once an associate of Dr. Marv back in Prague, and that the other guy was moved to the tower building up north, the same one that the kids were telling us about an underground tunnel that connects us to, though that's gonna be for later. But Snake deduces that if Madnar is being kept alive and was captured by Zanzibar Land, then he must be aiding them in building another Metal Gear, though the good doctor seems to be a bit more excited about building this weapon of war than he is worried about it. This new Titan is already complete, and it puts the TX-55 to shame, he says, with lighter models already on their way to mass production. Yeah, mass-produced Metal Gears, surely that'll never happen. But now that Zanzibar Land has the last remaining nukes in the world, this makes the whole concept of a nuclear deterrent impossible. Oh yeah, did I mention that Zanzibar Land has the only nukes left in the world? They're the only superpower left? Wow, we could really use an online semi-PvP mode to explain that whole chain of events. Wow, Konami, you really knocked it. There's no assurance of mutually assured destruction. It is just destruction. With Big Boss backed by his new Metal Gear, which Dr. Madnar confirms it is indeed Big Boss behind everything, surviving the events of Outer Heaven, Zanzibar Land's forces have now set their sights on a new miracle energy source, Oilix, a plot MacGuffin that's not at all relevant to the rest of the story and is only mentioned in previous briefings of the series in Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 4. Metal Gear Rising alludes to a faction coming close to creating a perpetual energy source prior to its destruction in Metal Gear Solid 4, but connecting that to Oilix is purely speculation. We don't know enough to say if it's the same thing. Despite all this, Dr. Madnar doesn't want us to save him just yet. He tells Snake about a woman from the STB that they should work together with to try to get Madnar out of there, but we don't have a way of contacting her yet, and he instead gives us the codex frequency of 140.40 to put us in touch with Johan Jacobson, a zoologist that'll help us occasionally in our adventure, and every time we do, he mentions that he's eating something incredibly unhealthy. Come on, man, Master Miller would be so upset right now, unless it was 20 years ago. I tried calling him right after this conversation, and he told me about how weird it is that Foxhound uses animals as code names because, I guess he doesn't know what metaphors are, just like a lot of my fans. Meanwhile, Snake's #1 fan calls him to alert him about a minefield. How come none of you guys do that? I was just kidding about the metaphors part. That was just so that I could write a clever segue. But the whole Snake's #1 fan thing, that's real. That's what the guys called in our speed dial. This time though, as long as we have the mine detector equipped, we can actually pick up these mines and place them in our inventory as long as we're prone. You don't even need to have the mine detector equipped for this. You could just do this if you happen to have them memorized, or you're using a map, which I'm not. How many times am I gonna run that into the ground? At least 2 more. Oh my god, did they get suspicious of my phone call? Thankfully, no. The space between building 1 and the tower building have been replaced with singing sand? Not to be mistaken with the singing sand dunes that just kind of blow wind funny. This is closer to barking sand, which, no joke, has been losing its ability to sing because of pollution. That is very on the nose for Metal Gear, which I doubt was intentional. Whatever the case, this just means that whenever we walk by these 2 screens, guards act as if we punched a wall. Yeah, punching a wall is also a thing in this game where guards come to investigate and then just look around awkwardly, but also can't have that investigation canceled by hearing a new noise unless they see you. But I'm guessing that the sand does some sort of chain reaction thing because all it does is make them suspicious. They don't know where you are, making it even easier to get past them because they just stop and start looking around. I'll never be caught between these fuck. Ah, that's right, the mines. I should have picked those up. While running away, I saw this small child that insists that he'd seen trucks driving through this bottomless pond that they were told not to play in. I think, okay, it's probably not bottomless. Maybe I could just wade my way across it, but no, I just drowned in front of a child. That's not traumatizing. So I give up on that, thinking that I need to find some way to float across because this ain't the Oregon Trail, and then come face to face with a goddamn Hind D. I can't take this thing down with a handgun. This isn't Metal Gear Solid 5, so I go back. So then naturally, Holly, the spy that she is, tells us that she knows where to find some Stinger missiles, and they're across that same goddamn swamp that I just traumatized a small child in. Sure is nice that helicopters aren't able of tracking anybody that's running on foot, but at this point, I'm convinced that I have no way of going across the swamp and go back to building 1 so I can pick up any items I might have missed. And yeah, I found some plastic explosives and a submachine gun, which is definitely something. Both items that I barely ever use, but I still need them. Now have at thee! Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. If there's shit hidden in plain sight, then does that mean... Big boss, you big son of a bitch. Thankfully, this part isn't too punishing, it's just a bit tedious. You can climb back up onto the hidden path as long as you're not sinking for too long. So it just turned into a game of walking straight for as long as I can, falling off, and then climbing back on and trying an adjacent path. Which is how I found out that there's a fake dead end in the path to throw you off, but I still found the way to go shortly after. How the hell do these trucks navigate these 1-tile wide paths? But after about 4 minutes of trial and error, which really wasn't too bad, I make it up to that northeast swamp hut to find the Stinger missiles. Was I about to say rubber missiles? What am I talking about? But I guess it's my fault for expecting those items to just be laying out there like every other storage shed in this place, because we actually meet our next boss here, the Running Man. Oh my god, Snake is gonna kill Forrest Gump. He's the world's fastest mercenary. No man can keep up with him. Almost like he's the fastest thing alive. The red and blue blur, or gray and green. Okay, before you even get a chance to move, he demonstrates that he has this whole 4-tile wide compound to move around. Really showing that, yeah, Konami used a lot of technology to make sure that shit can exist on multiple screens. You need to sit here while he completes a full lap around the arena, forcing you to look at your radar to see where he is. I almost thought he was going to become a joke boss in some capacity because of how long it takes for him to get back to you and how out of breath he is. mask. But he's not wearing that gas mask for no reason, because this whole area fills up with nerve gas as soon as the fight starts, which is the closest that this fight comes to being an actual, fight. No matter what you're doing on this 2x2 grid, he's always going to be running to the opposite side, so you need to make sure to prepare for that by lining his path with some of those mines that you hopefully picked up by the singing sands. As sad as it may seem, this is probably the best use of mines that I've seen in the series up to this point, meaning, these 3 games. Now, how could a cheetah lose to a snake? That's exactly what this guy happened to be thinking. He really just wasn't fast enough. That wasn't an explosive in his suit. Snake's quips just do that to people. Anyways, we get keycard 3 from this guy, as well as a health boost, which is gonna be how the game handles, really a lot of the keycards. This is basically a replacement for the ranking system where you had to save the prisoners in the previous games. And yeah, I prefer this system way more. I definitely see the charm in the previous system, but I doubt anyone actually prefers it. Alright, so the Stinger missile's gotta be in here. Nope, those are children. I am not throwing children at a helicopter. I'm sorry. I hate people who use guns. Okay, I have to have accidentally pressed an attack button or something right after that dialogue box because I have no idea why that child just disappeared and my flesh started to melt. I probably deserved it, I'll be honest. Thank God the other one didn't start vaporizing me because this other kid here tells us that he knows where to find Stinger missiles, and they're on the west side of the first floor of Zanzibar's compound. And good lord, is this whole area very beige. We never have to come back to this area on the first floor, so I'm guessing that's related. If you're in the Metal Gear universe, don't trust anything that's beige. Oh man, Holly was not kidding. The Stinger missiles just shred this poor thing. It's really cool that the helicopter actually flies up into the air to start attacking us rather than staying at ground level and just sort of wiggling side to side. I'm still not sure how forgiving it is to actually aim the Stinger missiles because you have to use the radar in the top right, but I mean, I think as long as it's in the grid, it's fine. Snake, aren't you good in a cardboard box? Try posing as that cargo. I would, but I haven't found the box yet. Oh, also, he's changing frequencies on us, just like Big Boss did in the last game. Except he says to find his frequency that you have to look in the manual. So I think, okay, I better check the Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence manual, but it's not there. So what are my options then? I guess maybe it was a direct translation, so maybe I should check the MSX manual, but no, there's still nothing there either. It turns out that Konami just didn't include a way to find his frequency in this PS2 release of the game, and maybe not even in the PS3 release. So to remedy this, they had to put out an FAQ page with his frequency on it, which I suppose is the same as me having to look up what to do. But I found it through this FAQ page, so I probably did it just like a bunch of you guys did it back in the day. Though the page did spoil for me that he's going to be changing his frequencies again later, so oops. That's okay, I forgot all about this by the time he did. Oh, there's the cardboard box. Please pay no attention to the guy in the cardboard box. I was audibly amazed that that actually worked because I think that fast traveling in a box is really cool and never gets old despite it being used in multiple games. But my celebration didn't last very long because Holly calls in and announces that she's been a prisoner. Not announces, that's a bit informal. Holly's been kidnapped, we gotta go fucking save her. But she is able to figure out vaguely where she's being held. Somewhere between an elevator and a water pump, and I don't need to know what's in the rest of this building to know where that is. That's definitely in the basement that was supposed to connect these two buildings. That doesn't mean I don't have to explore though, because I still have to find a way down into the basement from this area. So I hop onto an elevator, hit the button, and suddenly I'm going all the way up to floor goddamn 20. Actually, 2 of the 3 elevators here both lead you to a single floor in the double digits, and only back and forth between those. So you gotta make sure you go into the right one and zigzag through this maze to find the right elevator to take. And thinking that I'm eating my vegetables before I go into the main course, I go up to floor 30 because I think that I'd have the least to explore. And god damn it, I accidentally skipped this dialogue because movement keys count as inputs during these text boxes. Can you just kill me already? I want to know why you're a fucking Spider-Man grenadier sitting behind a wall. Alright, it turns out I didn't really miss anything. This guy is Red Blaster, who does exactly what I thought. He's crawling around the ceiling tossing grenades at me like Spider-Man, and that's really it. I need grenades if I want a chance at this guy, so I'll be coming back later. At least it's better than stairs. Oh, okay, when this kid calls Big Boss his one-eyed daddy, it's totally fine, but when I do it, I'm put on a list? If I wasn't missing that hang glider right now, I'd jump right off the roof. I can't live without my one-eyed daddy. I really don't want to use an explosive in such a small space, especially when a child is here and we got no hearing aid, but I mean, oh well, sorry kid, it's for the future. Remember to please keep your kids away from explosive devices, thank you. Alright, I'm about 4 hours into the game at this point, and I only just now learned that I could punch a guard once to disorient them. That was part 1 of my 2-part Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake 2 video. Hope to see you back in a week, maybe longer for part 2. Maybe less than a week, let's be honest. Alright, see you guys.